Welcome back, guys, to another video. Today we are back doing our week 13 power rankings, and it has been a minute since my last upload, so I do really apologize for that. I have a lot of catching up to do, especially for our Madden series and just for our weekly NFL content as well. So I decided to get back on track with doing a power rankings video. My last one was 2 weeks ago, which is the week 11 one, which you guys did seem to like. So over week 13, we're actually almost coming to a close really with the NFL season, which is just really crazy to think about because I'm not going to be doing power rankings in the playoffs. But come to think of it, I am going to be doing playoff predictions with like a bracket and all. So anyway, that's farther ahead. We'll get to that whenever we get to it. But for the power rankings, we do have a lot of movement from the last time I did this list, especially with some of the best teams. Because at this point in the season, you kind of know what teams are doing, but some of the upsets that kind of spoil seasons and stuff do cause teams to kind of move up or down. So we're just going to start out with number 32. My favorite team, the team I'm actually repping right now for whatever reason, is the Panthers. Really not a lot of good things about them. Just in general, you fire Frank Wright. Was it the right move at this point? Who knows? It's just an organizational issue. So he was probably a problem. I don't think he's the problem. Play calling was bad. Offense was bad. In my opinion, if you're a head coach, things that will draw you to Carolina are Bryce Young and the defense. Otherwise, you need a lot more offensive linemen because they regressed. The entire unit regressed very badly over the past season. And new receivers because no one can separate, and it's not helping out Bryce Young at all. I do think Bryce Young still has a ton of potential, but he has just not a lot to work with. And he's also being compared to C.J. Stroud, who's having an amazing rookie year. So it's been very, very bad for Bryce Young. So that's also the Panthers for right now. They're number 32. And then next is going to be the Patriots. Again, I don't really, okay, I was going to say there isn't a lot to really look forward to, although different from the Panthers, the Patriots actually have their own first-round pick. So I will say there is that to look forward to. And, you're potentially going to take a QB. I'm not sure why you wouldn't, to be honest. So that is actually pretty exciting for New England. The season did not go how you wanted it to, but I feel like I would be pretty optimistic if I was a Patriots fan because going to the offseason, you have a chance to really kind of start fresh, bring some new guys in, both players and coaches, and just see if you can kind of turn things around for next year. But yeah, those are my bottom two teams. And then the next team up there is going to be the Giants. Now, I will say I had the Giants previously at number 31. But they've won, I think, either once or twice since that last upload. Do I think they're a good team? No, but I think they are better than the Patriots and the Panthers, so they're going to come in there. Once again, the Giants, like the Patriots, the season just did not go how you wanted it to, despite the expectations, especially after making the playoffs last year. Almost said missing. After making the playoffs last year, you just really haven't lived up to the hype. Daniel Jones gets hurt, and it's just kind of all falling apart around them. So a lot to kind of change there for the Giants, but this season I think is kind of pretty much over for them, so they're coming in there at number 30. And then next is going to be the Cardinals. Now, the Cardinals I like a lot, honestly. I do think, kind of looking over the entire league, if I was to choose like a top 3 favorite teams, the Cardinals would probably be up there. I like the Cardinals. I love Kyler Murray. I think he's very overhated. I think he's a great quarterback, but let's be honest, this year it just really wasn't in the cards for them. On paper, they just don't have the guys. You didn't have Kyler Murray for a majority of the year, and then James Conner goes down. It's been a bad season, but again, just go into the offseason, draft some guys you need, because honestly, I'm not sure who the Cardinals really need. So if you're a Cardinals fan, let me know down below who you're actually hoping to draft. But yeah, that's where the Cardinals find themselves. Then next up is the Bears. Now, the Bears, I got to say, things have just been so unfortunate for them because I feel like you're at the point this year where you needed to see Fields' development because you need to know what you had going into next year, going to the offseason, if you draft a quarterback or what you do. And honestly, Fields looks good sometimes, bad other times, and he also misses 4 weeks. That's 4 weeks of not getting to see the guy you really need to see, and I think that hurts him in the long run, but I'm going to be honest, I think you take a quarterback. I think Fields has progressed, but having 2 top 5 picks where they're going to be thanks to the Panthers, I don't see how you can pass on a quarterback. So, especially to pair them with maybe even Marvin Harrison Jr. So, I think the Bears are going to have a very exciting offseason, and I think it is going to involve getting a new quarterback. Then next is the Titans. The Titans are just honestly not that good. Will Levis comes in, looks really, really hot in his first game, kind of cools off after that, but overall, the Titans just really weren't the best team this year anyway. I don't think that's really, because of Will Levis or anything. I think he's performed well at times and bad at other times, just kind of since that week one, well, not week one, since that first game he played. I think it's been a bit of an average year for him, but I think that he has shown enough to where you kind of want to see more and maybe even start building the team around him. So I think the Titans have seen some very nice things from Levis, and honestly, I think if you're going to have a bad year, at least look for the good flashes, and I think the Titans actually have seen that from Will Levis. Next up is the Raiders, and I got to say, the Raiders are a team that I like to root for right now. I cannot remember what his name is, but the interim head coach stepping in there, I know it's something Pierce, and just really kind of bringing that culture back, it seems like. Players, it looks like they actually want to be playing football. They celebrate their wins, and they just kind of had a new spark for them. Did they make the playoffs? No, probably not, but I think it was a much-needed change that had to happen at some point, and I'm honestly glad it happened now, so you can go into the offseason with a lot of optimism and just kind of going forward, because honestly, finishing the year out with Josh McDaniels would have just been a very, very bad move. So I'm glad they got rid of him, and I'm happy to see their players kind of, having a bit of a better attitude about things with, kind of feeling refreshed in a way. So not a great team, but again, they're not the worst in the league. Then next is the Rams. I think the Rams, honestly, they've had a few really good games this year. I think overall, again, they weren't projected to have the best year in the world. I actually projected them to be like bottom 5 in the league, which really isn't the case, and I think they have impressed on offense. Puka Nacua is having a great rookie year. You saw Cooper Kupp there. Kyron Williams, who's done an excellent job at running back. And then Matthew Stafford's still there as well. Whether he's there next year or not, who knows. I think the Rams have a lot of question marks going forward, but again, not worse in the league, but not too good either. All right, with the bottom 8 out of the way, it does get a bit more interesting from here on out, especially when we hit that 9 through 16 range. Right now, though, is going to be the Jets. I had the Jets really high up for majority of this year because they did find a way to hang in games, and I was trying to hold out hope for Zach Wilson, and it just didn't happen. And it sucks because Zach Wilson should have been playing this year. He should have been sitting behind Aaron Rodgers. The Jets should have been having an amazing year. It just sucks. I feel robbed as a football fan. I'm going to see Aaron Rodgers, so I can't imagine how Jets fans feel. It definitely sucks, and the Jets are number 24. One above them is the Packers. People might like me to have them lower than what I have them at, and if you do, that's perfectly valid, but I do think Jordan Love is starting to get some decent games under his belt, and he is starting to look a bit better. I know his decision-making at times is a little questionable, but again, even though he's not a rookie, it is his first full year starting, so give him time. I think there's definitely potential there, and that's where the Packers are right now. Okay, and next is going to be the Chargers. This is one that I did not want to do because I didn't want to drop them, but at a certain point, you have to look and just go, they're not winning games, and it's really that simple when it comes to power rankings. If you're not winning games, you can't stay up there. I tried hanging them around like that 12 to 15-ish range because they have played good games, but they're just not winning them. Herbert is really just being wasted right now. How Staley has a job, I have no idea. I feel bad for Chargers fans because on paper, this should be a really good team. And then you also have fans now doubting that Quentin Johnson choice because he's had some very big drops. It's rough. You've already lost Mike Williams for the year. You're hoping Johnson steps up. He really doesn't, and then you just can't get wins. It really sucks. The Chargers are a better team than this, and it's honestly sad to see them not living up to their potential this year. So it is what it is. That's where they are. And then next is Washington. And even though their record is not very good, I do think Washington has shown a lot of what their offensive potential is. And that's why I was so high on them this year. I'm not going to lie. I think I probably projected them to get a few more wins than what I probably should have. But I was just so kind of fixated on that offense. And honestly, I wouldn't say I'm disappointed with it because, again, Sam Howell's his first full year starting, and he's honestly not doing too bad when you consider that he's also being sacked 10 times a game. He's getting sacked a lot. And, I mean, honestly, the offense at times hasn't looked great, but when you kind of think about that and him being in his first full year starting, it's just you kind of have to give him the benefit of the doubt, in my opinion. I think he's shown plenty of potential. I think you have your guy. From here on out, it's just building around him and putting him in the best spot to succeed moving forward. And again, I doubt Rivera is there after this year anyway. So I think changes are coming to Washington, but I think they're all good and necessary changes. And then, okay, once again, I'm going to have the Saints up here. And I'm going to put them, right there. And I'm also going to go ahead and just put the Buccaneers and the Falcons there because I've done this before for these teams. And it's because I have them all in a row. So starting with the Saints, this is all one division. I think they're all pretty similar. They are similar in record, and I think they are all pretty inconsistent as well. They look pretty good sometimes, and then pretty bad other times. And honestly, I have no idea who's going to win this division. I'm going to be honest. I really don't. At the beginning of the year, I projected it to be the Falcons winning it and then the Saints and Panthers close behind, which obviously the Panthers, massive disappointment. But I do still feel like the Falcons can definitely come out on top of this one. But I just have a feeling the Buccaneers are going to pull it off. I'm not sure why. That's just kind of where my mind is right now. But Saints, the Derek Carr move I've said before, it didn't blow me away. Even in the offseason, you can go back and check my videos if you'd like. I didn't feel like he was a huge upgrade over Garoppolo. I felt like you were just kind of moving more to the side rather than forward. He's not like a huge upgrade at quarterback, but he's not really a downgrade either. It just seemed kind of pointless, to be honest. So that's how I feel the Saints, to be honest. You need a long-term quarterback in there. Go find yourself one because you're really just not going to find long-term success until you do. And then as for the Buccaneers, I root for Baker. I really do. I think he's really gotten too much hate in the past. Again, in Carolina, I think it's become very clear it's an organizational issue. It's not every quarterback they have just happens to be bad. I think Baker didn't get a fair shot there. He goes, to the Rams last season, gets a win in like 3 days, 9-0 in the offense. So Baker's had a lot of cool moments, and I do think he's had a good season for the Buccaneers. And honestly, those are all my division rivals, like the fan of the team that I am of. Weird way to phrase that, but you get what I mean. And the Buccaneers are probably the team I'd root for to win it because I do think Baker deserves a shot to really be a long-term quarterback because he's kind of shown it this year for the Buccaneers. He's been pretty good, and from what I've seen, Buccaneers fans do, I think, like him, at least as of right now. I think he's ran the offense pretty well too. So that's for the Buccaneers. And then for the Falcons, again, I've said it all offseason, and I will again now. The Falcons quarterback situation is what has really deterred me from pushing them farther than what I did because Ritter kind of scared me. And I said that I didn't feel confident in him. I don't feel much more confidence in Taylor Heineke, to be honest. I think they are figuring out that if they just give Bijan Robinson the ball, good things happen, which I know just sounds completely crazy and it's hard to comprehend. But yeah, just give him the ball. You draft him 8th overall for a reason. So I think the Falcons offense might be getting things figured out at the right time, but again, in my opinion, you do not have your long-term answer at quarterback there. And then next is going to be the Broncos. Now, again, this might seem too far back, okay, so I do want to just clear that up. Me personally, before the Broncos went on this win streak, they were like 4th to last, basically, in my rankings. So I have moved them up. I just had them so far back. They haven't moved up maybe as much as they should yet. But again, if they keep winning, they're just gonna keep moving up because they've now beaten the Bills and the Chiefs and the Vikings and was it the Packers they won? I can't remember who they beat again in their win streak, but still, that team turned around. Whether it's Sean Payton, whether it's just not Nathaniel Hackett, whatever it is, they look good. Russ looks good. The defense looks alive again. I'm gonna be honest. I think ideally, as a football fan, the Broncos make the playoffs and have to play the Dolphins in the playoffs, and we see if the Dolphins can drop 70 points again. That's just what I want as a football fan. I'm not sure that'll happen, but yeah, seriously though, good for the Broncos. They just look like a brand new team, so that's cool for them, and they kind of close out the bottom 16. And then next at 16 and quickly dropping is going to be the Bengals. I had them higher up there. As soon as Burrow got hurt, I was thinking like, yeah, they are not going to stay very high on my list, and that is going to be the case. They're going to probably keep dropping, assuming they keep losing these games. I will say them losing to the Steelers in a game where the Steelers have like their best offensive game in a while, in my opinion, is more of a testament to Matt Canada rather than the Bengals defense. It's definitely a bad look, but Matt Canada held that team back so much, and everybody knows that. So I think I'm going to give props to the Steelers there, not really trash the Bengals for that. I do think the Bengals defense has been good like this year, but at a certain point, now without Burrow, it's going to start getting really bad really fast. And you either have to play spoiler and try to ruin other teams' seasons or just lose out for a better pick because, in my opinion, you're not really making the playoffs. And then at 15 is going to be the Colts. And I got to say, so the Colts have had like a sneaky good year because that division is really not like incredibly competitive. And I really wouldn't give any team that division yet because, yes, the Jaguars are in first place, but like I feel like things can really shift. So I'm going to kind of leave the Colts right here, kind of like what I did with the Jets and the Packers for a time where I kind of kept them in like that 12 to 15 range because I do still have faith in the Colts. And honestly, it sucks because Richardson, I think, would be doing really well right now. And I really, 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 really wish we got a full season of him healthy because he looked really good when he was playing. So that really sucks. Still good for the Colts. Obviously, you want to see if your potential franchise quarterback can play well too, which, he's hurt. So that sucks, but good for the Colts to even still be in the spot. Next is the Steelers. Now, again, I have the Steelers as high, not because I'm honestly the most confident in them, to be honest, but because they're winning games. And just because watching them might not be the most exciting game in the world, if you're winning games and you're in the playoffs, you got to respect it at a certain point because whatever they're doing, even if it's ugly, they're winning games. And that's what it really comes down to. And then on top of that, seeing the offense have a new spark to it, Matt Canada gone, I like the Steelers to be in the top 15 range. I really do. I don't think they'll go far in the playoffs because I think they honestly just don't have that good of an offense. But I do think a full offseason without Matt Canada, I think next year you might be able to take a real kind of leap with your offensive production. So either way, though, Steelers are going right there. And then next is going to be the Vikings. The Vikings run a really nice win streak. Josh Dobbs coming in there. And now you lose 2 in a row. One to the Broncos, one to the Bears. You allow 1 touchdown in 2 games, and you lose both games, which is really not a good look. I still believe in Dobbs. I want to see him win games he should be winning, but I do still believe in him. I want to see a bit more from him. But again, if he starts slipping, the Vikings are going to have to consider putting back in Jaren Hall because, again, Jaren Hall did not look that bad before he got that concussion in the Falcons game, which inevitably, had Josh Dobbs coming in there in the end. So, again, I do think Dobbs can do it. I think the Vikings are still, obviously, a potential playoff team in the NFC, but, if Dobbs doesn't get back on track, things might shake up because, again, the Vikings head coach himself did say that they would look at everything when it came to the quarterback position. And then next is going to be the Browns, but again, right here is where I'm kind of getting a little nervous for the Browns. It's like that kind of end of season push, and I don't know if they're going to cut it. I kind of hope they do because, to be honest, they have just had obstacle after obstacle this year, starting with Nick Chubb, and then Watson ended up going down, and then DTR even gets hurt too. So we'll see what the Browns do as far as the playoffs go, but right now I do like them still to be one of the better teams. I'm not going to say in the AFC, but I will say in the wild card race, I do think they're like one of the better teams to potentially get there. So they're going to come right there at number, whatever that is, 13, 14. And then next is the Texans. The Texans, I honestly don't know how you cannot like this team. Like, this is a team that, and again, I said in the offseason, I thought was actually going to trend in the right direction. But when I say that, I meant 4 wins, show some promise, not maybe win your division and go to the playoffs. So massive props to the Texans, to DeMeco Ryans, to CJ Stroud, everybody there. Really exciting team. Also, I had said in my Texans video that I did, or the AFC South video, I had said that I wanted to see Derek Stingley kind of bounce back. And now that he's healthy, he has I think 2 interceptions in a row in his last 2 games or something like that. But he looked a bit better, so I'm happy to see that for them too because he was a very high pick that you want to see pay off. But overall, Texans looking really good. Stroud looks amazing. Obviously, you have Tank Dell there. I really hope they make the playoffs because I would love to see them go on a massive run or something. And then next is the Bills. Okay, so the Bills are a team that people have a lot of different opinions on. Whether they're still really good and their record is deceiving or they've fallen off and they missed their Super Bowl window. Here's what I will say. You are at this point, 6-6, I think. In a very competitive conference, in a competitive division with the Dolphins. So, personally, I think they can still make the playoffs. I don't know if they will, but I think it is definitely possible for them to. Super Bowl talks go, I do think that window is quickly closing because you're not winning games, and that's a serious issue, to put it that simple. Although I will say, one thing for Bills fans, the offense has looked a lot better the past few weeks. So there's always hope to turn things around. I think Josh Allen is a good quarterback, even if he doesn't show it at times with his decision making. But again, the offense has looked a lot better. Maybe you get in the wild card spot and go on a run. I don't know, but it is an uphill climb from here. And then next is the Seahawks. Now, let me know down below if this is too high for them because sometimes I feel like this is too high, but when I look at the other teams, it's I would have the Seahawks here. So they're a weird team for me to rank, I guess. But I do like the Seahawks a lot. I do think they're a pretty good team. I love their offense. I don't know Geno Smith's health and everything. Like, I think he was playing, but like, there's no way he's 100% with that hit he took with his elbow injury now, kind of affecting his play. So I guess we'll see how things go. But the Seahawks, I do think, are a good team, and they could definitely go on a run in the NFC. And now on to the top 8. Okay, so this is very hard to rank. I'm not gonna lie, but number 8 is going to be the Jaguars. I like them a lot. I do think they have been a little too inconsistent this year. I think there's been some games where I think they should have won by a lot more than what they have. I think Trevor Lawrence sometimes this year has not looked as good as I have wanted him to. But at the end of the day, you're winning the division and you are a good team. And the offensive potential is seriously through the roof. I think if they hit that at the right time, they can really beat some very good teams. I want to see how they do in primetime football against the Bengals, though, because if they can like blow up the Bengals, who are a somewhat decent team, I do think it will be a good look for them, obviously. So I want to see that happen for them. But overall, I would love the Jaguars to be kind of like the Bengals in 2021, kind of go on a run and maybe go to like the AFC Championship. I think it'd be absolutely awesome for them. So Jaguars, number 8. And then at number 7 is going to be the Lions. The only reason I moved the Lions down is because they've looked a little shaky, even if they did come back and beat the Bears. Again, a little shaky. Still a great team. Obviously, still top 10. Still one of the better teams in the entire NFC. And at this point, you pretty much have your division locked up. So I want to see something from them in the playoffs, though. I don't want to see a one and done. I want to see the Lions hype continue on in the playoffs. Win a game, win 2 games. I don't know. But I do want to see some more from them. But again, it's awesome for the Lions. People have been saying this for years now about this is their year, this is their year, but this really is their year. They've been very, very good. The defense has looked much better this year compared to last year. The offense is still fun to watch. Jahmyr Gibbs has just really been the person that you would expect him to be after they drafted him so high. So, I don't know. I love the Lions offense. I really do. And yeah, they're number 7. And then number 6 is going to be the Dolphins. So, and again, the Dolphins are a team kind of like the Bills. People have a lot of different opinions on because the Dolphins have not beat teams over 500 consistently or even at all in a while. What I will say to that, though, because again, I mean, those stats don't lie, and I will respect that. But this is still a team that you do not want to face in the playoffs or at the end of the year when you need to win to get in the playoffs. They are still a great team. I understand their track record recently playing teams over 500 has not been ideal, but they're a great team, and I do think they are still definitely I wouldn't say Super Bowl contenders, but like they're on the line between Super Bowl contenders and like deep playoffs, in my opinion. So I still love the Dolphins, and that's where they're going to go there at number 6. And then at number 5 is going to be the Cowboys. So I have made my fair share of Dak jokes. Okay, we all have. But Dak is playing very, very well. And in fact, I'm actually going to do a standalone video on the Cowboys this week. So if you're a Cowboys fan, be on the lookout for that because in my opinion, the Cowboys are just they are hitting the right time to be as good as they are right now, if that makes sense. Like, they've had some ups and downs this year, but they're getting really hot at the right time. Dak looks good. He hasn't turned the ball very much at all, knock on wood. Deron Bland, the pick 6 record this season. Unbelievable defense. Seriously, the Cowboys, I'm not going to say it's their year. I don't even want to jinx them or anything, but if it is their year, that's all I'm going to say. Cowboys fans in the comments, you guys knew the rest of the talking there. And then next up is going to be the Chiefs. So the Chiefs are still a very good team, but something I will say, they lead the NFL in drops, and that is going to catch up to you when you play the better teams. So, I mean, it's like, get that figured out, basically. It's that simple. When you play the better teams that are going to score when you don't have drives where you get points, it's going to be very hard to come back when your offense struggles this much. And it's really that simple. So Chiefs need to get that figured out. Their defense has been pretty good this year. But again, the drop issue will catch up to them when they play some better teams, especially, in December and in January. All right, top 3 all at once. Number 3 is going to be the Ravens. Number 2 is going to be the 49ers. And then number 1 is the Eagles. So starting at number 3 with the Ravens. The Ravens, I do think, have some concerns because that game against the Bengals, you won, big statement win, but you lose Mark Andrews for the year, and it just really sucks. I know they said that he could potentially come back if they make a deep playoff run, but you can't rely on that. You have to be able to just move forward without him, and it's a massive loss, But despite that, the Ravens are a great team. They really are. Their offense has been much better this year. Lamar's played very well. So I do think they're one of the better teams in the entire NFL, and especially the AFC. So they're number 3. Number 2 is the 49ers, who, again, have had their ups and downs, but I do think they're looking really good at the right time, like the Cowboys. And then at number 1, and I'm going to kind of combine this with the 49ers, is the Eagles, because they play each other this weekend. The NFC Championship rematch from last year. Both teams healthy. It should be a fun one. In my opinion, the Eagles are the best team right now as far as power rankings go and as far as record goes. Would I say they're the team to beat? Yeah, because I do think their record speaks for itself. Even if they haven't got the prettiest of wins, they win. And that's really, at the end of the day, all that matters. Because you look at teams like the Chargers, great team. I mean, like, look where they find themselves. Even if you have them much higher, at the end of the day, they don't have very many wins. So whether the Eagles are winning in games where it looks really good or where it really doesn't, they've only lost one game, and they are looking very hot, very good, just like last year. So those are my power rankings for Week 13. I am sure not all of you agree, and if that is the case, which I know that is the case, comment down below what you think I got right or got wrong, where your favorite team falls into this. And if you're a Panthers fan, then, I guess just comment sad or something down below. But thank you guys for watching. I do really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more NFL videos like this. We do rankings every week until the regular season is over. We also do week picks again every week, and then we will also do it for the playoffs though as well. We'll do a full playoff prediction thing. We do team videos, player rankings, all that kind of stuff. I also do Madden videos where I do a no money spin series, gameplays, pack openings, and new promo and content news, all that kind of stuff. So thank you guys for watching. I do really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.